Hi everybody, it's Shantae, and this is another video that is focused on the Wise Woman tradition as we prepare for our Wise Woman Immersion on July 14th. So, I'm sitting out here in my front porch, I have two favorite places, my front porch and my back porch, and they both have very different energies, and I love the front porch midday because the sun has not quite gotten all the way, so I can sit out here in the shade and I can hear my wind chimes and I can look at the clouds, and it's just a really, really peaceful time for me. So this is usually where I like to have my lunch. So I was thinking about the Wise Woman tradition, and it got me thinking about my grandmother. And I remember when I was a little girl, my grandmother would come to visit and we would watch TV together. And a long time ago there used to be juicy fruit commercials where they had juicy fruit little packages of gum on trees, and there was like a little jingle to it, and then everyone would like run out to the tree and pull these packs of gum off the tree. Well, I remember my grandmother saying to me, you know, we used to do that as kids. And I was like, Grandma, you did not have juicy fruit trees when you were a little girl. And she said, no, we didn't have juicy fruit trees, but we used to pull the sap off the sweet gum tree and we would chew it like gum. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, we would do that all the time. Whenever we wanted to chew something, or whenever my mother or my grandparents would say, hey, go out there and get some sweet gum, and we would pull the sap off the bark and we would chew it. That is a classic example of the Wise Woman tradition. The Wise Woman tradition is invisible, as Susan Weed would say. It's invisible because it is woven within the fabric of our conversations, of an elder sharing information with their community, with their children, with their grandchildren. So when my stomach was upset and she gave me tea, and I'm like, what's this tea, Grandma? She's like, oh, this is peppermint tea. It helps the babies with their upset stomach. It'll help you with your upset stomach. That's the Wise Woman tradition. It is the wisdom and remedies and knowledge that was passed on from one generation to the next in common conversation. My grandmother was a medicine woman. She would never call herself a medicine woman, but everybody in the community would come to her when they needed something, whether it was a prayer, whether it was an herbal remedy, whether it was some advice, some information, a bowl of soup, a hug. She was that community medicine woman, but to me she was just Grandma. And when she came to visit, I knew she would share all her stories about when she was a girl or when she was growing up, and I just soaked it up because I loved hearing about those stories. I loved hearing about my history. That is the Wise Woman tradition. Telling stories, singing a song, praying for someone, those are forgotten medicines in our culture. And one of the ways that we bring the Wise Woman tradition back into our lives is to remember the stories, to remember those songs, those lullabies. It's to remember a time when someone shared something with us that had deep meaning and has value. That's medicine in the Wise Woman tradition. And so one of the ways in which I feel, my own personal opinion, as much as clinical herbalism is valued and needed in this culture, I sometimes feel like clinical herbalism leaves out half the story. The other half of the story is the folk wisdom. It's the information that can't be measured. My grandma didn't know what sweet gum was for. She just knew that that's what the kids did, that's what her parents told her, and that's what she chewed. Yeah, upon researching about sweet gum, it's an antiviral, it's antimicrobial. It's actually keeping her mouth and anyone else who chews it, keeping it free of germs. But it wasn't about having to look through a book. These are things that were passed down from generation to generation. You just did it, and it helped keep you healthy. So, I want you to think about what you might have forgotten. What remedy, what tradition has been passed down to you when you were young, and you've forgotten all about it? I want you to remember it, bring it to the surface, maybe even do a little research around it, because you might find that that remedy that was shared with you has supported you or could support you in ways right now. So if you want to learn more about the Wise Woman tradition, if you want to just get steeped in the Wise Woman tradition for a full day, I am hosting a Wise Woman Immersion on July 14th, right outside of Leesburg. I will be sure to make sure you have the link down below in the description, and I look forward to hosting 10 of the most amazing women who are ready to learn about herbs, who are ready to learn about this tradition, to just open their heart, to connect with nature, and to remember. All right, I will talk with you soon. Bye.